Hello, I'm Mark McCulley, and welcome to our continuing journey through Advent towards Christmas. We're on day 4 now, and D is for David. Why David? Well, when the angel Gabriel appeared to Mary, he mentioned, which we saw yesterday, he mentioned that the baby that she would bear would inherit the throne of his ancestor David. So who was David? Well, David was the second king of Israel, the first righteous king. And the unique thing about David was, compared to the king that had gone before him, he was somebody who listened to God and would change what he did according to God's suggestions and commands. He responded when God said, do this, don't do that. Now, David had many mistakes in his life. He did a lot of things that he was sorry for, but he always turned back to God and asked for forgiveness when he made one of those errors in judgment or in activity and actions. He always came back and asked for God to forgive him. And whenever he did anything, he did it with his whole heart. He was a wholehearted king. And he's described in the Bible as a king after God's own heart. Not that he was perfect, but that he continued to pursue after God his whole life, and he listened to God his whole life. So what does that have to do with Mary? Well, as we saw yesterday, when the angel came and said that I'm going to put you in this very difficult position, you're going to be pregnant before marriage, and you're going to have a baby that everybody is going to know was born out of wedlock before you got married, which was a very shameful thing to happen then. Mary knew what the implications were, and she still said yes. She said, let it be to me according to your word. She, in that way, followed in the footsteps of her ancestor David. She was, in that way, like him. She was wholehearted. She was sincere. She was obedient to what God asked. What about you and me today? That seems to be the question then, isn't it? Coming from those lessons to those people at that time, what about you and me? How many things are we going through right now where we want to run and hide and try to get away and try to make it stop? Wouldn't it be better if we take it to God and say, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. Would you teach me? Would you walk with me? Would you help me get past this or get through it? And listen to what he has to say, because he will. You see, God isn't just after mere obedience. He wants relationship with you and me. We'll talk about that another day. He wants to be able to communicate with us and us with him, and for him to guide us and for us to follow. That's what Mary did. That's what David did. And he's looking for us to do the same. So instead of trying to run and hide or blame our lives on somebody else's issues or somebody else's problems, what if we instead take our stuff, all of it, to him and say, Lord, I can't do this. God, you're the one who created the universe. You're smarter than me. Can you show me what to do with this and how to deal with it? And then as he shows us through someone else's wisdom, or maybe even telling us, then we do what he says. How do you think that would turn out? It worked pretty well for David, and it worked for Mary as well. It'll work for us too. I'm Mark McCulley. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed day.